Hi. This week I want to expand on Chapter 7. And in Chapter 7, the focus there is on three indicators of health worldwide, and that's life expectancy, infant mortality, and subjective well-being. And there's other indicators there too, but these are the three indicators of worldwide health. And what I want to do, there's also some graphs in there that are pretty good. And what I want to do is show you a tool where you can expand on those graphs and even select countries of choice. And it's a tool called Gapminder.org that was developed by Hans Rosling. And Hans Rosling is a professor of global health at Sweden's Karolinska Institute. And he did, in 2007, he did a presentation for TED that was very good, and it was a demonstration of his Gapminder tool. And his current work, this is a quote from TED, his current work focuses on dispelling common myths about the so-called developing world. And what he said was, and which is very true, he says that a lot of people, and especially people in the so-called developed countries, have myths about the so-called developing world, or countries that we can think of the developing world, and we really don't realize how much they have developed. And so what I want to do is I want to take you to this tool. So let me click on this and let's get started here. This, if you type it in, it's Gapminder.org, and let me see if I can expand this a little bit here. Get it up a bit. Okay, so maybe that's the basis for it right now. And you're seeing this is a picture of Hans Rosling, and you're seeing the menu. This is what you want to click on, Gapminder World, and it's going to load that tool you just saw there. So if we click on that, here we go, we can see this tool. Let me see if I can bring this down, but I can't see here if I can get this to move. Well, I guess maybe you can see it. With this tool over here on the right, we can select countries of choice. So for example, I can click the United States, United Kingdom, and you can see there's a lot of countries here. Let me click China, and I can click Denmark, and right away here's the life expectancy that the text talked about. So here we have numbers of years, and then across the bottom is the year. And now what you can't see, which is right below, but you'll see it on this tool, is I can take this back to, say, 1920, and then if I click on play, what you're seeing is how this developed through the years. Here, let me see if no, I can't move it down right now. And you're seeing now, so you can see how life expectancy in China had been considerably lower, but there's almost parity in these today, and you can see this is showing the countries as they track. And so we could add any country we want. As we look here, you see how they're highlighting them. And Germany, for example, very high. And so anyway, you can find the countries of interest. Now if you come over here and click on this arrow right here, it brings up the menu that we could look at. So uh, um, life expectancy was one tool. Notice you had life expectancies in years. Here's child mortality. So now we've loaded in child mortality, and you're seeing now how it all shifts, and you can literally pick the variables that we want to look at here. One that I thought a good measure of health, if I can see if I had it here earlier, income inequality. Let me see if I can find where that was now. Let me see here. Look at economy. Here we go. It lists inequality index. So notice the United States is higher on income inequality than most of these other countries. A lot of people would not think that, but that's true today. And so that means there's a large gap between the 1% and the rest. And you see, as I'm hitting countries, you can see United States is one of the worst for income inequality. And that's as an indicator. So you're seeing we have all of these different variables that you can look at. If we wanted to look at energy, what's the use of oil production total, and there you go. You see, let's get an oil country up here for comparison. Let's go to Iran and Iraq. So you're seeing the United States is pretty high. And now this stops at 2005. Okay, I can run the data up to, looks like 2011. There's data. It'll take it as high as it has data. Now you can also, you click up here. Let me get this, see if I can get this to click. You should be able to get a definition. Yeah, total amount of crude oil production, tons of equivalent. So it'll give you a definition for the scale. There was another one I wanted to look at. If we look at emissions in the environment, let's look at carbon dioxide emissions. And and if we hit this one for carbon dioxide, CO2 intensity, let me run it back here, since 1990 and play that. And so you're seeing total, and that's the total. If we went to, let me see, yearly intensity of economic tons. Let's look at this, sulfur emissions per person. If we look at this per person, notice what happens to the United States. Kicks way up there. And let me see if I can get this to, I think, if you want to see, notice how emissions really begins to escalate with the industrial age. And so the data doesn't go beyond 2000. So anyway, this is a pretty good tool. It's called Gapminder.org, and let me show you just the reference right here. Notice it's HTTP Gapminder.org. There's a www in there too. So I encourage you to check this tool out, and it's also a good tool that will support papers in the class. Thanks.